Well, it really is wonderful to hear about the awards and hear from this year's winners and from one of the charities that they have supported. Very exciting news. My name is Iain Rawlinson. I'm chair of Global Philanthropic, and I'm delighted now to be joined in conversation about some of the major themes from today by Jean Sung, head of the Philanthropy Centre, JP Morgan Private Bank in Asia Pacific, which itself has a long track record of philanthropy. What's become clear during the day is how the pandemic has changed the world and how it's already shaping our thinking about philanthropy and philanthropy ecosystems for the future. And as we've heard, corporate philanthropy has played an important role. Jean, can I first ask you, do you think the aftermath of the pandemic will change how corporates and individuals support philanthropy?
Well, first of all, thank you, Iain. Thank you, Ben, for inviting me to Talking Philanthropy here in Singapore. I have to add that you have hosted a great day with speakers on innovation, courage, and commitment to make a difference to others. And good evening, good morning, everyone, sponsors, speakers, guests, and attendees. Corporate philanthropy is an expression of the company's values from top down. Personally, companies are people. People make choices. Choices that are we rather than me. Doing well and doing good goes hand in hand. 2020 have shown us that we are thrown in together regardless of who we are. Businesses, corporations, boards, management, we are all adopting a more empathetic behavior. We understand that in order for us to reduce risk, increase resiliency, we must and we have to work together. During the pandemic, we have seen so many changes in companies, in people that are no longer reactive, but we are proactive to help each other. For example, masks, sanitation resources, goods and services that are delivered to neighborhoods, to marginalized communities. Regardless of distancing, folks with masks are delivering foods to marginalized communities. We have also seen changing work patterns. We work from home. Companies are concerned with workforce well-being. Our health and safety becomes part of our policies and conversations. Never in our history have we been more aware with the notion of collective impact, delivering solutions rather than spreading negativity. The pandemic has built a foundation for corporations to be involved in philanthropy, to step up and help solve pressing challenges around the world. Business and philanthropic investments that not only help communities, it also spreads to those we are in contact with, our consumers, our clients, our employees, from programs that include community development to careers and skills, job mobility, business growth, and our entrepreneurship. We use the terms diversity and inclusion very often, but I feel that this also applies to an inclusive economy, an economy that is fair and works for everyone, especially those who have been underserved for decades. When there is equal access to opportunity, it leads to a stronger and a more resilient economy. When we also use the term and engage in our CR, or corporate responsibility, we are also helping build an inclusive global economy that works for everyone. Now more than ever, consumers vote with their conscience and their sense of value. They look beyond goods and services, but the values of the company and what that business stands for when they make their next purchase. What they buy becomes an expression and representation of themselves, their taste, their preference, and more profoundly, their values. Due to consumer pressure, businesses are demanded to step up their game. We've heard that earlier. Corporate responsibility is no longer an afterthought. The corporate social values become a powerful messaging. Employees exert the same pressure. They look beyond the monthly paycheck, but to the heart of their employers. Again, it's an extension of values and choices. We are in an era of great challenges, many of which may stay like the pandemic, but it presents us with unprecedented opportunities to rethink our modus operandi. Time to think outside the box and create a truly sustainable ecosystem. We need to adapt to survive. The commitment of giving back, build back better, has been reflected on how we do business every day. Boardroom conversations have evolved, such as ESG compliance, and these principles have developed with purpose and intent. Churlishly, I add that long-term business successes for corporations depends on the success of our people, our customers, our communities, our employees, in our own backyard, in the region, and across the globe. What I've also seen is people from all over the world, increased communications, singing from balconies on Facebook. We improved our connectivity via Zoom, webinars, webcasts. We're doing one right now, right, Iain? We did not travel to other geographies, but we explore our own backyard. Things we took for granted became important. Education, online learning, has reimagined to reach children in urban and rural areas. Addressing challenges is the norm. If we don't, shame on us, and we'll never pass the finishing line.
Thank you for those thoughts. And then a follow-on question, reflecting where you are and where a lot of our conversation has taken place today. How do you think corporate philanthropy in Asia differs in terms of mission and mandate?
Very interesting question, Iain. I think we should recognize that 80% of our businesses are owned by individuals or families. As Asian patriarchs, matriarchs, pass the baton on to the next generation, generation 2, or even generation 3, they don't necessarily work on historical gifts, loyalty to our native province, but to the future. They support businesses that are more aware for profit and purpose, to build rather than retaining the status quo. Younger donors are more interested in blending philanthropy with impact investing. Yes, some of them have inherited, some of them have also made their own wealth from their own entrepreneurism. We also see a surge with women in philanthropy. They are looking at women issues, looking to uplift girls and women in education, in social entrepreneurism, to ensure transparency in the functioning of charity and philanthropic institutions. Women donors are opening the door for all girls to unleash their boundless potential and to make a positive, lasting impact wherever they go. By providing girls with education access, something I personally believe in, tech skills and mindset, and the inspiration, and to lead with confidence, women donors are equipping girls to make their own decisions, empowering girls to become future leaders. Their philanthropy seems to be shifting away from something that perhaps we do when we retire or when you have wealth. They are doing it to reflect their own values and behavior, their journeys from their knowledge. They are eager to build and to share their network of friends and families. they are innovative, thinking of blending their donations as community investments.
So going on from there then, Jean, thank you. And then a final sort of important theme, how do you think governments can support and encourage corporate philanthropy in Asia?
Well, let's talk about that whilst we may have public sector in the audience. Private sector, as we all agree, is much more nimble, flexible, checks and balances. We engage with the public sector and they can demonstrate achievements that can be scaled. Government is the only place that can add scale. Private and public partnerships can increase transparency and adoption. From the philanthropic ecosystem to work, it needs to be trusted. And I've heard that word several times this morning. Increasing trust between funders and social system will boost the philanthropic ecosystem. Let me just finish by saying that we have to ask the right conscious questions if we are to make progress. We need to call things out. Many social issues have been in existence for decades. Maybe we've been turning a blind eye for too long. We can't stay silent and keep turning blind eyes to problems also in our own backyard. In the age of social networks, internet, philanthropists, and funders are exposed to so much information, but they also, at the same time, have responsibility to their own companies, to their employees. Necessity is important for the social sector to step up also with evidence-based solutions, programs and services that can reach beneficiaries, recipients, help them to be independent, help them to look after themselves, their families, help them to attain jobs so that we can turn the pyramid. We can write policies, missions, mandates, but the true test is in our own governance, our own compliance. 己所不欲，勿施於人. I think our Chinese audience will get this. It's a Chinese saying, what you do not want done to yourself, you do not do unto others. So ultimately, it is the respect and harmony of self and community, the conscious conscience that will drive change, equitable, positive change. We need to become do tanks and not just think tanks. I think the time is up, Iain. Thank you so much.
Jean, so it's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much for sharing those thoughts with us with such clarity and joining us today on Talking Philanthropy. So thank you very much indeed. Now I'm going to hand back to Kirsty for the final session.